Woke up today and I was graced with a newsletter from Toby Fox with some unused stuff from chapter 2. Let's check it out, starting with the concept art. I.e. whatever the hell these are. I just love Toby Fox's, how should I say, unhinged artwork when it comes to his concept arts. Now, these I'll admit are a bit too over the place, so I feel like I can't really comment too much on them. It's obviously just very early stuff and he was probably just trying things as well as having fun. But it's interesting to see, because some of these things, like this mouse here, did actually make it to the game in some sort. Remember, if you wanna check these out and read them on your own pace, then the links are in the description. I am not an artist, so clearly I am more than qualified to comment on these things. Some of these we didn't quite see in the full game, but I think it's very interesting to see, as I said. I really like this Space Invader dude, and this Spamtum looking guy. And now the mouse is starting to look like they do in the game. Oh, look at this shit. It's like we're looking at something made by Da Vinci himself. Now this is pretty interesting. We got Queen herself. And whatever the hell most of these faces are. I say these are interesting too because they actually have mock-ups for in-game sprites too, from the dialogue boxes. It says in the text, "It took me a very long time to figure out Queen's design. I wanted her to be intimidating and cool. Inspirations included Hexademical from Reboot, the Alien Queen from Alien, Power Rangers bad guys, and Rose Master from Cucumber Quest." And for the alien part, yeah, I definitely see that. And here she's starting to take form a little bit. My fashion sense increases portion to my power. I'm everybody's ex-wife. Never change. We also have some placeholder dialogue or early versions of it. If you wanna read these, go ahead, they're quite a joy. I'm not gonna go through in great detail in most of these, as I said, I recommend you to look them at your own pace. But here I like some of the earlier designs of this. I really like this one. Not saying he should have gone with this one over this, but it's a shame. It has actually pretty cool personality to it without being too over the top. And here we got the cars. And even how they lift themselves up. Man, you can't say that these guys are anything but creative. Skipping a few things because I don't really have that much to say about most of them, but I like that these were pretty figured out relatively quickly, it seems. And we even get this guy as a bonus. I'm Newbert, everybody loves me, that's why I live in the trash. Most inspiring words I've heard all week. Man, it's actually really interesting to see. I love the whole design process and working things out. It's always interesting to see how they came up the final designs. I always find the developing phase super fascinating. Wow, even early on they had the ideas for this scene. That makes me happy actually. Especially this smile here. Hey, look at this, even the whole transformation sequence. Man, cool land on the ground. Hard for me to draw, but remember the caper. Oh wow. The whole squad here. My personal favorite is Officer Bluke. Splat noise as he gets stepped on. You gotta get the good ideas out early. Now these following ones are apparently made by Splendid Land. Sorry if I mispronounced that. But man, these are really interesting. I don't think these three were used, but I could be wrong. It's always fun to see how these took shape so relatively early and pretty much seems to have gotten the art style down pretty quickly. Don't remember if this is how you encountered them, but I dig this quote though. Tell me the funny numbers on your mom's credit card to get a price. And even the hacker guys had keyboards that I don't remember them using in the game. A Tamagotchi that's literally an egg. Look at these things. They're so full of personality, even from just concept art. And even that ripped page that you'd see on broken pages back in the day. Just so deliciously 90s, all of it. And even shit like this. Fuck man, I get to appreciate the style of chapter 2 more and more the more I look at these. And even diskette. I never even thought of that. It's technically blinking. Man, these people. Whoa. Well, alright, moving on. What the fuck happened with this guy? Was that Groot stuck in a computer? This is interesting too, because this is a rough version of what the cyber world would look like. This one would have been fine in my opinion, but I think the one they ultimately went with is a lot more stylistic. This is a bit too literal for me, like the literally walking on circuits and stuff, but ultimately they went with a bit more surreal one, if you wanna say. Possibly Battle Network inspired. Still very cool to see the early concepts. This one was made by Chess, liking how all of these, they're for Burley. And then there's just Noelle up here in the corner chilling, being her awesome self. And last but not least, Temmie and her concept art for Queen's Chair, which looks pretty much how I remember it. As well as her a little earlier designs, the more alien queen-like. Is her skirt supposed to be pierced in the chair though? Or is it just erased? Very cool and interesting, all of this. Lastly, and these things are not that interesting in video form, I'd say. Again, I recommend you checking out these for yourself. It's the unused music. First off is the Power of Neo, which was meant to be for the Spamton Neo boss fight, which eventually turned into that one Spamton fight everybody likes. I also dig the detail how this thing plays when you're actually playing the song. There's quite a few of these Spamton fights songs. Toby Fox apparently couldn't get the tone quite right. I think it's interesting. I do prefer the final version with Big Shot, of course, but you can hear it steadily forming here and there. It's very interesting how it clearly went from a straight up Spamton neophyte concept to eventually becoming its own thing. And honestly, I don't think these songs are terrible. Maybe it could be used for a future bonus fight or something like that, who knows. And this one is just weird. Apparently even Toby Fox himself forgot he made this. I'm not gonna go through all of these songs, but there are two that I think are interesting. First is the fight with rules. Very different from the one we got. As he said himself, the song was too serious. Maybe we can save it for later though. Rules Neo, maybe. And lastly is the Queen battle. I'll just be honest, I think this one is the coolest. If the tone had been a bit more different, as he says in the text himself, it doesn't really fit a boxing fight. But this is pretty good actually. It could definitely be used for a more serious version of the fight in the future, but that's probably unlikely. As I said though, the links are in the descriptions, feel free to listen to them on your own. But all in all, I think these ones are interesting. I definitely think it's important to document the whole process of the development, because even when things don't always get used, someone put probably their heart and soul into most of these things. And I think they deserve to be documented and preserved. You never know, someone might see some of these and get inspired to make something new, or whatever else. Either way, I think these were really damn cool. Nothing that truly shocked me like, oh my god, I can't believe they didn't use this, but just a quick look at how the gears were turned, so to say. I think it's especially interesting because Toby Fox himself said that he struggled with some of the songs, like getting the tone just right, which I think is important for just about anyone that creates things to hear. You're probably not gonna succeed in your first try, no matter what it is. And that's okay. It's just part of the process. Just keep working at it, and before you know it, you'll get something. I guess that's the lesson for today. Don't be afraid to try things, and when you eventually settle on something, feel free to document the process. It's actually more interesting than you think.